Welcome to LG Hockey Hotline. We are here. It is the night before the Stanley Cup final starts between my Florida Panthers, Moran, and the Chicago Blackhawks, our President's Trophy winning Chicago Blackhawks, who have finally broken through and gotten themselves into the Stanley Cup final. Also, we have the league's Season 3 awards to announce tonight. We're going to get into that here in just a minute. But before we get into that, Moran, what's going on? How was your week?
It was good, man. Busy. It's just the two of us flying by the seat of our pants here, coming at you live without a net tonight. And, it's finals time. Two teams are both in the finals for the first time each. And, it's two teams that have been knocking on the door for the first two seasons, and they have finally pushed their way through to get themselves in a position to have a look at the Stanley Cup. And for both of those teams, they have to be more than excited. They've got to be ready and raring to go. I know Scoots is all about it. He's pumped. His team's pumped. Same thing with King Clutch. Their team's pumped. They're ready to go. This should be an interesting Stanley Cup finals. And then, on top of that, we have the little bonus material of the NHL Season 3 awards to give away. So it's an exciting night. It's a full night, and it's just the two of us rocking it. So, let's start shaking and baking here.
All right, so let's get right into this. Of course, your President's Trophy winner this season was the Chicago Blackhawks, and our Clarence S. Campbell trophy goes to the Blackhawks for winning the Western Conference in the playoffs, and our Eastern Conference playoff champions, of course, goes to the Florida Panthers. We'll get those out of the way real quick. Both of those teams really deserve to be where they're at, and I did pick Florida to win that series in 6 games. And did say that if it went 7, I thought Columbus was going to win, and Florida proved everybody wrong, got to a Game 7 down 3-1 and won that series. Very interesting series, and, really great Game 7. I didn't get to watch it live. I watched it about 30 minutes after it happened, but a great game. Florida was putting on the heat, man. Columbus scored first, went up 1-0, and Florida was able to get a 2-1 lead by the end of the first period, right with like 8 seconds to go. Great stuff. And thing I was looking at before I get into the rest of these awards here, Pittsburgh went down 3-0 in the first round to Tampa and came back and won that one 4-3. Coyotes went down 3-1 against the Oilers in the first round, came back and won that one 4-3. And then the Panthers go down to the Blue Jackets 3-1. And those are only 3 Game 7s. And all 3 Game 7s were won by the team that was down 3-0 or 3-1 in their series, which is kind of a crazy stat.
It's momentum, man. It's, it's desperation and it's momentum. It's guys that are desperate. They know their playoff lives are on the line, and, they just go out there and they give it their all. They play like they have nothing to lose because, it's win or go home. So, I say advantage to the team that is coming back in a Game 7 because, they've made it to that hump, and now they can use the best of the best on their roster, and everybody's pulling in the same direction at that point, and the other team is kind of playing it safe and playing on their heels, playing not to make a mistake, while the team that's been coming back the whole time is going full speed ahead. So, I say advantage to the team that's come back in a Game 7, regardless of the lineups, and, so far it's proved to be true.
Yeah, but it could go any way each time. That's why it's so interesting to watch. But, good for Florida. Way to come back down 3-1 in the biggest series of the season to this point and win the Eastern Conference Championship against a very potent offensive team who also have, a solid defenseman and goalie, as I'll get into that in a minute. But, Chicago took it to Anaheim. They really, ran away with that series, quite honestly. They put the boots to Anaheim and made them look like they didn't belong in the same league, and Anaheim kind of said the same thing. So looking at two really hot teams coming into the finals, that ought to be fun. And let's move on here.
One more thing I want to go back to in that Florida and Columbus series is, something that Columbus has to just be kicking themselves in that rear end for. They were on 5 power plays in that game. The Panthers took 5 penalties, and probably one of the better power play teams in the league ended up going 1-5 on those power plays. So that's got to be something that's just been eating them alive for a few days now. But hey, onward and upward, boys. That's a great season by Columbus. My hat's off to you, boys. Niner, you did an outstanding job with your team this year. Hats off to you, man. You built a really solid squad. Same with King Clutch, man. Great job with your team. Scoots, hats off to you, buddy. What more can you say? You've got an extremely solid team over there in Chicago, and you took down one of the better teams in the league quite easily. And, my hat's off to you for that. Anaheim, nothing but respect for you guys. Awesome season. You came up a little bit short, but hey, only one team gets to make it to the Western Conference Finals. And, one team loses, 2 teams make it, so you're one of 2 of the best teams in the Western Conference. So that's something to hang your hat on, guys. Both teams that lost, both Columbus and Anaheim, hats off to you, boys, and the teams going to the Stanley Cup Finals. Good luck to you.
For sure. Well, getting into these awards here, couple of the awards that we already knew we'll hand out. The Art Ross Trophy, of course, goes to J.C. Penn's 22, had 111 points, which is a new single-season record on the PlayStation side. Great season by J.C. Penn's. Outstanding for us, honestly. Played with a lot of different line mates. Played most of his games with Schroyer, or highest percentage with Schroyer, but he played several games with different ECUs, and then towards the end of the season bounced around from line to line when we needed to put someone in. So good job on him getting that Art Ross Trophy. And also TCX7 from Ottawa finished second in that race, and Bill 1492 of Toronto finished third. The Maurice Rocket Richard Trophy also goes to J.C. Penn's 22, who scored 65 goals this season. Great job. And Busy 313 finished behind him with 57, and Bill 1492 with 56. Over to the William M. Jennings Trophy, which was awarded to the goalkeeper having played a minimum of 25 games for the team with the fewest goals scored against in the regular season. This is basically a team award given to the goalie who played the most games for that team. You got something real quick, Mike?
I was just saying, did you see the Skype message that I sent?
I did not.
Check that out real quick.
So the William M. Jennings Trophy, like I said, is for the team giving up the fewest goals, which was the Chicago Blackhawks. And finishing first for that is Viper 2106. He played the most games for Chicago this season, and gets that award because Chicago gave up the least amount of goals in the regular season. Give me 1 second, Mike. So it's kind of interesting if you think about it, because there's so many things that we talk about, different goalies, and like Schneider, who had an outstanding season in Anaheim, was leading in the least goals scored. But this is not the Vezina. It's a different type of award. And just when you kind of look at that, it is really interesting that Chicago ended up giving up the least amount of goals, especially when you think about Chicago as an offensive juggernaut team.
My dog's
You should have that.
through some water there. I didn't want it to come through. But
so,
yeah, just real quick, to go back to the Jesus, what am I looking for? The Art Ross and the Rocket Richard. Depends, Hats off to you, man. We weren't expecting that at all when we bid on you. We were just trying to find a highly skilled player to play with Schroyer, to be honest. And little did we know that we were going to end up getting a future record-setting Rocket Richard Trophy winner along with the Art Ross. I mean that's outstanding, Pens. Hats off to you, buddy. Congrats on that. I just wanted to get that out there and say that because that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it is. And to set a single season record playing for the, I don't know, what do you want to call it? The dumpster of the league, Arizona. A lot of surprises coming out of Arizona this year, and him not the least. So basically what I'm going to do here, Mike, is I'm not going in the order of the list that you have. That's just the way that they're listed, but I'll say the award name for each of them in the order that we're going, is what I mean.
Yep.
I sent you a PM outside of our regular Skype. So the next trophy that we're going to hand out here is going to be the Frank J. Selke Trophy. The Frank J. Selke Trophy is awarded to the forward who best excels in the defensive aspects of the game. Things like this will be, face-off percentage, takeaways, hits.
Takeaway, giveaway. I mean, I guess that's not really in there, though, is it?
No,
more takeaways. It's takeaways, hits.
Right. So, but most importantly would be things like face-off percentage, in your defensive zone efficiency, personal penalty kill efficiency, things like that. And who do we got for that one? Start with finishing
number
third,
three,
all the way up.
At number 3, we have King Clutch of the Florida Panthers, who came in third for the Selke Award. Coming in second is a guy that kind of, didn't necessarily come out of nowhere, but is a guy, that has just steady been an outstanding player every season he's played in LG, and that person is Dank Chank for the Ottawa Senators, coming in second in the award for the Selke. He had just a ridiculous amount of
led the league in takeaways.
Yeah, he led the league in takeaways. So I mean, for a forward at that, it's to lead the league in takeaways. I mean, that's a hell of a job, man. But
and was a plus 14 on takeaway to giveaway. So he had 121 takeaways and 107 giveaways. That's crazy as a forward.
That's outstanding. But the Selke actually does go to the one and only Jay Claus, 33 from the Columbus Blue Jackets. So Jay Claus takes home the Selke Award in season 3 for being the best defensive forward on the ice for his team. And when you're coming in at a clip of what was it, like 64% in the face-off that?
62.5, I believe.
That's outstanding. I mean,
led the league.
Led the league in face-offs. I mean, you're giving your team a chance to win if you're winning face-offs. You're starting with possession of the puck. Claus takes the time and space away from guys like no other. He reads the passing lanes extremely well, and he works with his forwards to take away time and space. And, I couldn't see that really going to anybody else if you ask me. So the Selke Award winner is Jay Claus, 33 from Columbus. Congrats to those 3 forwards.
And he was second in the league in takeaways with 114. Now, he did have, more giveaways when it comes down to the ratio, but when a guy creates the kind of offense that he creates, that's going to happen. But he's a forechecking machine. He's a back-checking machine. Listening to him on streams, I'm not surprised at all that he's there for this award, because the way that he quarterbacks the defensive zone, communicating with his defensemen, moving in and out in front of the net, not bumping into people. He's a really good, positionally sound, great defensive and offensive player. So no surprise there for me either.
And just so everybody knows, if it sounds like we're kind of fumbling through this list, it's because we are. We were just gotten this list by the guys who are on the awards committee not too long ago, so we've only had a chance to glance at it here. So, if it seems like we're fumbling through it, it's because we are. But we're doing our best for you here.
So the next award we're going to go to is the Lady Byng Memorial Trophy. This is awarded to the player who exhibited outstanding sportsmanship and gentlemanly conduct combined with the high standard of playing ability. This list this is an award that doesn't really have a statistical category to go by other than fewest penalties and least amount of hits. Those are the only two categories that factor into this this award. So, which to me, that's one of the most interesting things to try and pick a winner for when you have an online gaming site that you're going on to pick awards for. There's not really much you can research on this award. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. I'm just looking at this list. I'm just looking at this list here, and like I jinxed myself for this award. I think I said the first game this season, I'm going after that Lady Byng this year, and I go out and I take like 5 times more penalties than I ever have. I took triple the amount of penalties as I did in season 1 and 2 put together. So shit on me for that one. But in looking at this list, I think it's kind of cool that coming in third for the Lady Byng is V-High. Coming in.
I said shit about it.
So I guess I took my jinx and I passed it off to you. That's a great job, dude. You did a great job this season playing defense, and that's a good to be mentioned with some of these guys is a good job, man.
Yeah, I'm honored. Honestly, that's all I can really say is I'm honored.
I didn't even see that until I just looked at it now. But coming in second for the Lady Byng is KG 3 and not. Am I saying that right? What the hell is it?
I don't know. That's what I would say it is.
3 and not.
Outstanding defenseman of the Anaheim Ducks. I mean,
he's KG.
He was like 24, 2-2. Didn't take very many penalties. He's got a great reputation league-wide from people. I've never heard anybody say a bad name about any of the guys on this list, honestly, as far as personality goes. So that's who that is. He was with the Anaheim Ducks all season and tore it up, basically.
Gotcha. And coming in first in the Lady Byng for season 3 of the LGHL PSN is Snipe Shot 21. Snipe Shot had extremely low penalties this season. He plays for Dallas. He just basically went out there and did everything that you want your Selke award winner to win. He only took
Lady Byng.
Lady Byng, but 17 PIMs. That's a great job on the season. Only 11 hits. That's really good. That shows that he's not going out and he's not trying to take people's heads off. He's playing a safe game. He's playing a smooth game. And, that's a great job by Snipe Shot 21 from Dallas. A winger to actually
former
win
Bog.
The Lady Byng, former Bog as well. Yeah.
Yep.
So that's a great job by Snipe Shot. Congrats, buddy.
Absolutely. Great job, Snipe Shot, and KG as well for getting up there and finishing second in the Lady Byng.
That's crazy.
I'm not going to pat myself on the back.
I'm not going to say shit about winning any trophy.
So the next award that we should go to, I think, here should be our Rookie of the Year, our Calder Memorial Trophy winner. We got 3 really good names on this list. All 3 of them had incredible rookie seasons. All 3 of them played very high levels of competition against a lot of playoff teams this season. And this is awarded to the league's most outstanding rookie player. And number 3, we have Fu Mancheesy, who actually led all defensemen in the league in points, led the entire league in plus minus. I think he only took 5 penalties. He had 10 penalty minutes or something something really low for a defenseman. But Fu Manchese finishing in third in the rookie award, Calder Memorial Trophy. Great job to him. Finishing second, we have none other than Jay Claus, 33, and
going the Artemi Panarin route towards the towards the Calder Trophy. Wasn't drafted,
nope,
but found his way onto a team in his first season. Had an outstanding season.
He should have been drafted, wink, wink. But, Jay Claus, finished with 94 points. That was good for, I don't even know, what was that good for? Fifth in the league? Fifth or sixth in the league in points.
That's a good question.
But, to finish with 94 points but win the Selke is an incredible job for Jay Claus. Win fifth in points and wins the defensive award for the league. So great rookie season by Jay Claus. But our number one, our rookie of the year, Calder Memorial Trophy winner is none other than Kraz 18, who finished, where'd he finish in the league in points this season?
Fourth in the league with 98 points.
2 points short of 100, did lead the league in assists. Kraz 18, guy that we picked up at the week before the trade deadline.
Yeah, about halfway point of the season.
I think it was week 6. Picked him up, so he played with Boston and Arizona this season. But Kraz 18 is our Calder Memorial Trophy winner this season. Congratulations to all of you three for finishing in the top 3 here in the rookie voting. That's great seasons by all 3 of you. Any of you 3 could have won it, honestly.
Yeah, it looks like of the top 10 guys in the league, the top 10 scoring forwards, they were the only 2 rookies. So hats off to you, boys.
Absolutely. I think, if I'm not mistaken, let me look real quick. I think Bill 1492 finished 3rd in the league, was technically a rookie. I think he was, but I'm not sure. I'll look that up in a minute. I'll keep going if you want to look it up. That's up to you. But congratulations nonetheless to you 3. Great seasons. Fu Manchese leading all defensemen, rookie or not, rookie or veteran, in points, plus minus. Didn't take very many penalties. Great job. So moving on to our next award. Our next award that we're going to give out is the Vezina Trophy. The Vezina Trophy this season was something that, quite honestly, when I look at this list, I am not at all surprised at the 3 names for your finalists here. And I don't know, what do you have to say about these 3, Mike? It's not going to be a surprise. It's the guys we've talked about all season.
Yeah, it's the Vezina. These guys have been outstanding for their teams all season long, and basically have carried their teams by themselves, really. So what more could you ask for out of your goaltender than to basically be known as the best goaltender? These guys stood on their heads for their teams, and it's definitely 3 names that I think should be up there, and looking at them, and to go with the list, coming in 3rd in the Vezina Trophy selection is none other than King Cons from the Pittsburgh Penguins. Coming in 3rd there, had an outstanding season. I know from playing against him several times, he's a pain in the ass to score on. It's almost impossible. Yeah. So hats off to you, Cons. Great season, buddy. Coming in 2nd is a guy who is still playing, still getting it done for his team and getting his way into the Stanley Cup finals here. And coming in 2nd is Viper 2106 from the Chicago Blackhawks. Viper had an outstanding season this year. He's been nothing short of spectacular for Chicago. I mean, granted, he has a great team in front of him, but he's been outstanding this season. Led the league in several categories. Save percentage, he was outstanding. So hats off to you, Viper. But this guy who's the Vezina Trophy winner really had a breakout season this year. He was good across the boards in almost every category. He looks to be leading. And it's none other than Schneider from the Anaheim Ducks taking home the Vezina Trophy this year. And I just got to say, Schneider, great job this season, man. You were outstanding from start to finish. You didn't even really have a lull anywhere in there. Basically just rocked it out all season long.
If I remember correctly, I believe he won his first 18 games of the season or something like that.
Yeah, it was something ridiculous like that. It was definitely 18 or 19, something like that.
They went 9-0 in week 1, but I'm pretty sure he didn't lose a game until midway or end of week 3. So he, just to put it into perspective, he finished with an 85% save percentage, which is highest in the league without even filtering out number of games played. That's incredible. A 1.75 goals against, which is good for best in the league. And he had 6 shutouts on the season. He faced 547 shots, which is it puts him right up there in the top 5 in shots faced in the entire league. He only had 82 goals against, and for guys that played, comparatively speaking, if you look at it, he gave up 82, Viper gave up 89, and Cons gave up 109. Now, Cons faced the most shots out of those guys, had an 80.5 save percentage and a 2.24 goals against with 5 shutouts, and Viper had 89 goals against with 508 shots, 82.5 save percentage and a 1.97 goals against with 5 shutouts. All 3 of them very deserving of being the finalists for this award. And when I'm looking at it right here, honestly, there's not really anybody else who should be considered. They had, Cons had the most wins. He had 38 wins. Schneider had 36 wins. Viper had 34 wins, and Schneider had 10 losses, and Viper and Cons both had 12. Those are crazy, unreal numbers. Great job, you 3, and great job, Schneider, for winning the Vezina Trophy. It's much deserved, man. You had an outstanding season.
Yep, congrats to the Vezina Trophy winner, Schneider.
Yep, and moving on now, we will move to let's go with the Jack Adams Award. The Jack Adams Award is awarded to the owner who is adjudged to have contributed the most to his team's success. Coming in at number 3, we have Like a Boss for Anaheim, who, what can you say? They put together an outstanding team. He did a great job, and they almost won the President's Trophy and almost made it to the Stanley Cup. So Like a Boss for the Anaheim Ducks coming in 3rd. Coming in 2nd, I am not surprised at all to see this guy's name sitting right here. Is none other than Niner 80 Rice of the Columbus Blue Jackets. What he did to build that team, CBJ Tabernac, say it one last time this season for Jay Claus. But the team that they had, they were so close to being in the finals. They almost won their series the same way that Chicago won theirs. Came up a little short as Florida came back, but Niner put together an outstanding season and made it all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals. And then coming in at number 1 is Maranaconda. Congratulations, man. Took a team that won, 13 games in each of the first 2 seasons, and put together a team that won 47 games and made it not only to the playoffs, tying for 2nd in the West Pacific, but also ended up coming back and winning a series against Edmonton, so moved on to the second round of the playoffs. Now, as far as I know, playoffs have nothing to do with the voting here, so must have to do specifically with making the playoffs and the team that you were able to put together. But congratulations, Maranaconda, the Jack Adams Award winner of season 3.
Yeah, as far as I know, and what I've been told, that these are regular season awards, from what I've been told. But I mean, I'm not supposed to say this, but I was on the awards committee in the AHL in season 2, and from what I remember from that is that
2 or 1.
Season 1.
Season 1.
It was season 1. Yeah, totally. Season 1. So from what I remember from that, it was regular season stuff. I mean, because there's separate awards for the playoffs as well.
Yep. And I did want to go back to the William M. Jennings Trophy real quick, which was won by Viper. That was for the team's awarded to the goalkeeper playing a minimum of 25 games for the team giving up the fewest goals. The top 3 for that were Viper was number 1, Schneider was number 2, and Big Lammers for Columbus was number 3. Columbus being the team that gave up the 3rd fewest goals on the season. And Big Lammers playing, I think, 44 games for them or something. I was just looking at it right before I read the Jack Adams Award. But anyway, congratulations, dude. Well deserved.
Yeah, I mean, wasn't expecting it, to be honest.
I know. I don't want to put you in a position to have to talk about yourself.
It's kind of ridiculous to.
I'd like to thank my sponsors.
I'd like to thank my mom, and God had a lot to do with this.
I think
without him,
you thanked them.
Nothing would be possible. But it's greatly appreciated to whoever the awards guys are. Thank you. That's pretty cool. A funny quick story. When I was talking to Haji before the season, when he was talking to me about, possibly giving us Arizona, he actually cracked a joke and he was like, "Look, man, if I fucking give you Arizona and you make the playoffs, I'll give you the fucking Jack Adams. I'll just give it to you because we need somebody there that can keep that team together." And, I just think, he was just joking around, but mean, that's my best Haji impression that I can do. But, or actually I think it's plus size pounder these days. I think he's officially retired as Haji. So
I think he said Haji is dead were his exact words. So let's not bring that one back up. We'll go with
that was
plus
kind of
funny. Yeah, that's hilarious. All right. Well, we only have, let me check real quick. I believe we only have 2 awards left to give out. And they are the 2, what I would consider as far as individual awards in the league go, the 2 biggest awards in the league. We're going to go with the James Norris Memorial Trophy first, which is for the best defenseman. It's actually listed as awarded to the defenseman who demonstrates throughout the season the greatest all-around ability in the position. So it is not the best offensive defenseman, but it does include offense, so it's not just the best defensive defenseman either. I mean, you see in the NHL, Erik Karlsson leads all defensemen in points and wins the award, but it's not always that guy. So could be any number of guys. There were some incredible defensemen on this list. Coming in at number 3, and Marianne, I'm going to let you announce the Hart Trophy winner. Coming in at number 3 here is KG3 and Ott from Anaheim, who, he didn't even have a regulation loss until the final week of the season. Outstanding job by him.
Really?
Yeah, it was actually against us, was his first regulation loss.
Are you serious?
That's why I remember it. He had 2 overtime losses when we played him, and then he lost his last 2 games of the regular season, I think. But yeah, he comes in 3rd. Coming in 2nd here, I know this is going to make this will make J Claws happy because I was reading through a thread about 45 minutes ago that the Columbus handshake thread that he posted. Trio Big Mac, who is an outstanding defenseman, very well known across this league as being a shutdown D-man, really broke through again this season with Columbus and played outstanding. Finishes second here in the Norris Trophy voting. And, Moran, you know him a little better. If you want to say something about Trio, go ahead.
He's just always there, man. He's always –
That's the best way to be as a defenseman, huh?
Yeah, I mean, he's just, not only, in reality in his playing and everything. I mean, he's always there, obviously, but, I think he's in the Norris conversation every single year. I mean, he's just that good. He's that consistent. It's not like he plays, he doesn't scrub hunt. He plays the best teams all season long because he is their best defenseman, and that is for whatever team he plays for. In Washington, it was the same. I mean, they would throw him out there against, the best teams that they played, and, he's always gone out and just taking care of business. So, hats off to you, Trio, man. Great job. And, he was, part of that, I think it was season 5 Friday night puck team that I put together that won a championship there in season 5 as well, along with Claus and Kraz and Voltep. So
so you cheated.
We had a pretty stacked team for season 5 Friday night puck, that's for sure. But congrats on the second place there, Trio. Good job, buddy.
Yeah, and I don't think there's any surprise here. Coming in first for the Norris Trophy is none other than the third place finisher in the rookie voting, Fu Mancheesy. What can you say? Led all defensemen in points, led the league in plus minus. Didn't take very many penalties. I think he only had, I was just looking at him too. I think he had 77 giveaways or something, playing 28 games in the season. It was very low comparative to a lot of the defensemen on that list. I mean, he's inside the top 10 for giveaways, being the lowest. So congratulations to Fu Mancheesy on winning the Norris Trophy. Coming in your rookie season into the NHL and making a statement. Outstanding job.
That's crazy. I mean, obviously, shit, you look at his stats and you're just like, damn.
Ridiculous. Played with a lot of different forwards too. He didn't play with the same forwards.
I mean, there's some guys on this, that there's a lot of guys that could be said. I mean, it's definitely not just a points award, and I'm going to stress that. I can't stress that enough, is that it's not just points, and it's not just takeaways. It's not just, I would assume
it's all
a
around.
lot of this, yeah.
Very few penalties.
It's a great job.
His, I'm pulling it up right now. He was in the top 15.
Hariz from Florida had a good season too. Now there's some guys who aren't on this list that I'm noticing that.
So did Logical.
Logical. Hariz. Why did I say that? Logical is who I meant. There's some guys who aren't on this list that had outstanding seasons as well. So there was a lot of good defenders this year, but Cheesy was just. His plus minus was outside.
The defenseman at the top, when you're looking at the stats for defensemen here, all of the defensemen up at the top are like all bunched into a group of like 10 defensemen that are all right there with take your pick who to put in this list. I mean,
that's crazy.
lot of outstanding defensive play this season, that's for sure. Congratulations, Fu Mancheesy, on winning the Norris Trophy.
Oh, Jesus, there's another stat. Okay, here's another stat that should basically just solidify it. He took 5 penalties.
Right.
He had 10 minutes in PIMS, which is probably almost good for best in the league, I would think, with a minimum of 25 games played.
It's close.
That's insane. As a defenseman, only taking 10 minutes in penalties, which equates to 5 penalties. That's insane, man. That's outstanding. So I mean, just glancing at the stats here, I think he's hands down. Now, I mean, he only did have 67 takeaways.
So didn't even make it out of the show before someone starts bitching about an award winner. All right, let's move on to the big one. The Hart Memorial Trophy awarded to the league's most valuable player. Honestly, interesting list. This is interesting.
Yeah, let me get back to it here. Sorry, I got kind of sidetracked with some stuff, opening stuff up. We're on the Hart. Yeah. Yeah. The Hart Trophy, I mean, it's the most valuable player. It's not whoever scored the most points, whoever had the most hits, whoever had, this or that. It's not a points driven award. It's who was most valuable to their team, is the way I've always heard the Hart Memorial Trophy described. And from the looks of it, these three guys on this list probably had a lot to do with quite a few wins for their teams this season. Coming in third, is a guy that, I can say, was instrumental in a lot of wins this season. Coming in third is JC Penn's, a guy who won the Art Ross and the Rocket Richard for scoring so many points, but in those points scored, he was invaluable to our team and picking up so many wins this season. And he was definitely a very important piece to our success this season. So hats off to you, Pens. Coming in second is a guy who's already taken home an award tonight. And, he's right up there in his rookie season. Coming in second is Jay Claus, 33 for the Columbus Blue Jackets. What more can you say about Claus? He's definitely an important piece. And, I'm sure Niners going to be sad to see him go, but, thank God he's in the Eastern Conference, because I'll tell you what, the team that he puts together is going to be one hell of a team. And that's going to be a team that you don't want to play every night. So coming in second in the most valuable player, or the Hart Memorial Trophy, is Jay Claus. Now coming in first, we have a guy who's already taken home another award here tonight. And, it seems to be kind of the trend here lately, as it happened in the NHL last season as well, in the real NHL. So coming in first in the Hart Memorial Trophy is none other than Schneider from the Anaheim Ducks. Taking home the Hart Trophy along with the Vezina. That's crazy. That's a great season by Schneider. This is a guy who was moved several times before the season started, and it must have lit a fire under him and made him go out and, just absolutely get it done. People can say who's better all they want, or who's this or who's that, but Schneider played amazing this season, and his stats speak for themselves. He did take on quite a few shots this season. He stopped a lot. It's hats off to you, Schneider. That's a great season, buddy. That's going to get you. It's going to get you paid. I can tell you that much right now. But Hart Memorial Trophy going to Schneider from the Anaheim Ducks. That's crazy.
Yeah, congratulations, man. I mean, it's tough to. I mean, you have a goalie winning it, and it's interesting because, when I look at it, Schneider, he was by far and away Anaheim's number one goalie, and he played basically the max amount of games. What can you say? I'm looking at his stats, and they're all ridiculous. It's interesting because you're used to seeing a guy who has an extreme high output offensive total, things like that. It's really interesting. doesn't bother me whatsoever. He
No,
was definitely Anaheim's most valuable player. I can tell you that. He was the league's most valuable player according to this, and it's what are you going to do? He
that's
was
crazy
by
for.
far and away the most important piece to that team, and they almost went all the way. I mean that's crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And he played everybody.
Yeah, I mean, he played 2 less games than Cons did, which is, and he I don't know. I mean, I'm not here to defend anybody or pop anybody up. I mean, if I had a choice, it would have been, who knows, but Schneider would have been there. I mean, he's super important to his team. He had 36 wins. I mean, how many wins did they? That's well over half the amount of wins that they had this year. So, I mean, that's, to me, that's being vital to the success of your team. So, that's crazy. I mean, like I said, look at the real NHL that just happened last year, and Carey Price getting the Hart and the he won the Vezina last year too, right? He was single-handedly responsible for his team success. So, hats off
I think
to
it was
Schneider.
2 seasons ago.
Was it?
I think so.
He was injured last season. That's right. It was 2 seasons ago.
Yeah, but either way, I mean, I'm not disappointed at all here. Just reading the awards off. It's congratulations to everybody who won the award or even finished as a finalist. It was a long season, and what are you gonna do, right? This will light a fire under somebody's ass to go out there and do something next season to get themselves in that position. And I really can't wait to see it unfold. But congratulations to all of the award winners for season 3. And let's move on because we have a Stanley Cup final to talk about, and it is between 2 outstanding teams. What can you say? I know what I can say. I can say I thought Anaheim was going to win that series, and they got stomped by Chicago. I was wrong. But I did think Florida was going to win, and you guys did not. So thank you. I will take the win on that one. Pull out that damn list.
Well, I said Florida could possibly. I said I'd take Columbus in 6 games.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised if Florida won it in 7 games.
Yep. I did say that either team could sweep the Anaheim or Chicago series too. Could go either way. But I'm not taking that. That's bullshit because I did pick Anaheim to win that series. I was hoping that series would go 7 games because those teams
that
are
game 7 would have been amazing.
It would have. Sure. But Scoots got the boys ready, and they beat in game 1. Game 1 and game 3 seem to be the most popular opinion is the 2 most important games of that series. And Anaheim's first line got smacked by Chicago. And, it's crazy when you look at the games. You have the game that Anaheim won, they win 7-1. They lose 2-1, 3-2, 8-0, 7-0 to end the series. A 2-1 and a 3-2 loss. 2 games that could have gone either way. Anaheim's either up 3-0 or down 2-1. They were down 2-1 and then lost 15-0 in the final 2 games. Game 4, the 8-0 win, I believe AHL All-Star played in net in that game. So that was not Schneider. But I would believe that game 5 probably was Schneider. I did not get a chance to watch that game. I was not around, unfortunately. But what can you say? Chicago finally breaking through into the Stanley Cup. I know Scoots has been disappointed. There's been talk about a curse in Chicago losing in the first round, the first 2 seasons with, the consensus best team in the league, according to everybody, as far as having the most talent. They go out and add PTP in the draft at number 2 overall. Of course, they got their GM, CC Piper, who just an outstanding player, straight psycho, Viper, finishing second in the Vezina this season. they really have it all as far as forwards, defense, goaltending. Nobody really talked about their goaltending too much coming up against Schneider, who, just took home, I don't know, should we say he swept the awards? He coming up against Piper or against Chicago, sorry. And, Chicago takes that series and just, runs straight through it, get it done early. Don't have to stress about a game 7. What are you going to do? They came to play. They showed up. They kicked some ass, and now they're 4 games away from winning a Stanley Cup. And I'm happy for Scoots to finally get his team into the finals. He put together a great team. Anaheim, outstanding season. It's surprising how you went down, but that's bound to happen. If you guys play a 30-game series, it might be 15-15 by the end of it, even if it starts off that way it started off. So, incredible job. But let's talk a little bit about Florida. Down 3-1, Game 5, Columbus puts out the clause line, trying to wrap up the series. And, they're trying to win it in 5, putting out, let me pull up the lineup real quick. They put out Claus, Novak, Theos, DPZ, Niner, and Big Lammers. And oh no, shoot, that was Game 4. What the hell? I just clicked Game 5.
Yep.
Okay, so they put out Vex, Fool, DeBard, End of a Circle, and Niner, and Big Lammers. They got beat, man. 2-1. Close game, and Florida believes at that point, right? Now it's 3-2. They've won a big game. They have another game coming right after it 30 minutes later. Game 6, it's kind of one of those things, we felt when we won Game 5 against Edmonton, we knew we were going to win Game 6. That was the feeling that we had going into the game.
Right.
I suppose Florida felt the same exact way. They win Game 6, 3-2. And then, like you said, Game 7, Florida took 5 penalties. I think they took 3 or 4 of those penalties in the first period, if I remember correctly. Columbus breaks through first. But Florida decides, hey, we got to get our shit together here. And they score 2 quick goals. One of them with like 8.3 seconds left in the third period or something, in the first period, and they go into the break with a 2-1 lead. And then, there's no looking back. They score 2 more goals. It's 4-1, and Columbus tried to pour it on in the third, but Florida did a good job of getting the puck into their zone and holding it. Finished even on shots in that game, 15-15, even on hits, 9-9. Florida out time on attack them by 1:10. Passing percentage was 70-69. Columbus only took 1 penalty, and Florida didn't score on that power play. Just looking at the stats here, the only statistical categories that were really different were face-offs were 17-14 Florida, 4-1 goals for Florida, and 5:55 to 4:45 time on attack. Everything else was dead even, and Florida gets it done. I must say, watching that game, Ethos Jinx stood on his head. Columbus had some outstanding chances in the third period when they were in the zone, and Jinx didn't let anything by him. It was a great game. 4-1 is not the closest score, but as far as the game itself, the game was dead even. Florida just had a couple more goals. I know Clutch scored a hat trick. He broke right up the middle and scored a huge goal. So, it was a great series, honestly. But here we are sitting right ahead of, about 24 hours away from Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Finals, and it's going to be Florida and Chicago going head to head. Both of these teams' first trips to the Cup.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. We're going to have a new Stanley Cup champion. For the first time there's going to be a new champion, and it's either going to be the Chicago Blackhawks or the Florida Panthers. It's we're going to see. It's exciting to me that a new team is going to take home the hardware. It's not, we haven't seen a dynasty yet. I mean, we've kind of seen a dynasty. We've kind of seen a dynasty in teams like, Chicago. They've been there every season. So it's kind of expected that they should be going at least to the conference finals this season, if not the finals like they are. Same thing with Florida. They've had a good team all season long, or since the inception of LG. They've made the playoffs. They've had the same owner, and they've kind of gradually built their way up to get to the top. So, for both of these teams, it wasn't just one good season. It's been a long time coming for these guys. They've put the time in. They're both original owners. They've put the time in to go through here and build their teams. And this is the culmination of 3 seasons worth of work for these guys. So, it's not just stacking their teams for one season. These guys have put teams together that, are ready to go out and get it done. And it's going to be an interesting Stanley Cup Finals.
It sure is. So I guess what did we have for the predictions as far as games and teams for the conference finals? Me, you, and Goose. I have Goose's pick for the finals here, but what were you have them on a piece of paper there? I know you do. You write everything down.
I do. Oh, you're talking about our predictions for that round? Sorry.
Yes.
I'm getting sucked into the shout box.
Leave the shout box alone. Shout box is AIDS.
Yeah, sure is. Nothing but retardation in there. So as far as the picks go, you're talking about our picks. What did we pick last week, right?
Yes.
Well, Goose had Columbus winning that series in 6 games, 4-2. So, for Goose, that is wrong. For me, I had Columbus winning in 6 games, and was wrong too. So, coming down to you actually had Florida winning in 6 games. So, you were the most right out of all of us. So,
not totally though, because I did say, look at Columbus's top line with Novak, Claus, and Theos. And Theos really, didn't have the outstanding season that he had all of season 2. But when he got to Columbus, he really turned it up. Playing with Claus kind of rejuvenated him, and he was playing outstanding. He was scoring goals like crazy. And when I thought about the prospect, even though I know Florida's Game 7 lineup is good enough to win, obviously, I just thought that, Florida's going to win this in 6, but if it goes 7, facing J. Claus, Theos, Novak, and trio Big Mac with Niner and Big Lammers, and I thought it was going to be a tough task, but Florida equaled them talent-wise and got it done and proved me wrong, because I did say Columbus would win if it went 7, and it did go 7, but Florida still won. So I don't want to give myself full credit, because they did what I didn't think they were going to do if it made it 7 games. So congratulations to Florida, and congratulations to me for supporting Florida.
I can't believe I didn't pick Florida, to be honest with you. I've been on their bandwagon
to you
all season long, and I just thought that there was no way. I thought, honestly, that Columbus was going to take the whole thing with that Claus Theos line, but hey, I guess I was wrong. So, congrats to Florida, man. King Clutch, hats off to you, dude. Your team's really good this year, and that's a
They're
great
not
job.
done yet.
They're not done yet.
What did we have in the Western Conference Finals? I do believe all three of us picked Anaheim. Yeah.
All three of us picked Anaheim in 7 games, so that shows how much we know. Honestly, it's what more can you say? Chicago's
Joke's
kicking
on
ass. Yeah, joke's on us, man. Chicago is really getting it done, and this is almost the perfect scenario. You've got a Florida team that's been just steady getting better as the season's gone on. You got a Chicago team that's just been good since the season started. And I'm not saying just like good, I mean like fucking good. They've been a really good team all year long. And, just goes to show that, they won the President's Trophy. And, Anaheim came out of the gates extremely hot. They were extremely hot for 3/4, if not, 4/5 of the season. And, all Chicago did is came out of the gates good. And they stayed there and they never faltered and they kicked ass every single week and never fell off. And now they're finding themselves in the Stanley Cup Finals. So, as far as our predictions go, we all got that one way wrong because that series was over in a hurry. And it was over with a bang.
And not for the team that we all picked.
Yeah.
The President's Trophy, not holding Chicago down to this point. It's not weighing them down and keeping them from climbing the mountain. They are still climbing the mountain at a pretty good rate of speed. If you take a look at the Anaheim series, and it's what else can you say about them? They played all three of their lines played outstanding. They deserve to be there. They got it done and did it in outstanding fashion. In those final 2 games, scoring 8 goals, then 7 goals to end the series, 15 goals in 2 games while giving up 0, 2 straight shutouts. I'd hate to be the team that's playing Florida this week, and I'd hate to be the team playing Chicago this week. So it should be a very interesting Stanley Cup final. Let's get on to our predictions for this Stanley Cup final, the final series of the year. There's only 2 teams out of the 30 left standing here, one from each conference, and they are playing for the big trophy. The one that guy polishes up year round, waiting to hand out.
He's polishing the coupons.
Yeah. So, he's got to have it ready because it could be handed out by Tuesday night, or it could go till Thursday. Personally, I think it's gonna go till Wednesday. First of all, let's get Goose's pick in here. Goose is picking Florida in 6. He is taking Florida in 6 here. And, let me go up here because I am going to go with the pick that I did make on the site because I want to be fully transparent here. And I also picked Florida in 6.
Oh, boy.
I was going with Florida regardless, but I wanted to make sure I had the right number of games. So my Florida in 6 helped them win the last series in 7. So come on, Florida, let's get it done. Make me right. But if not, I will congratulate the winner.
This is for gambling purposes, not because we don't root here on the media team.
Right. But Chicago could win this series in 4. I would not be surprised. Moran, what do you got?
Well, I don't know, man. I'm half tempted to pick my boys that I've steered away from in the last session. When we were picking who was going to win, I went away from them and they continued to prove me wrong. But I got to go with the hot hand here. If you can come out and you can take down the Anaheim Ducks 4-1 in a series, you got something going, because Anaheim is a very solid team. And
beating Mr. Hart and Vezina along the way 4 times.
I mean, if you can come out and do that to Anaheim, and in the last 2 games you outscored them 15-0, I'm going to go ahead and say that team's playing pretty damn good right now, and there's no reason that they shouldn't take this Stanley Cup home to Chicago in 5 games. I'm going Chicago winning this 4-1.
Is that the first time you've picked Chicago all playoffs?
That is the first time I have picked Chicago all playoffs. I can't go against them. Yeah,
did you pick them against Winnipeg though? You might have picked them against Winnipeg.
Let me check my papers. I really am checking my papers. Let's see here. Chicago. Oh no, look at that. I picked them to win 4-0 against Winnipeg. So I guess that is incorrect. I don't even know what I've picked myself.
Yeah. Well, you picked them again here, jumping on the bandwagon after picking against them 2 straight rounds, but I'll let that slide and see what happens.
I can't pick against them again. I mean, it's just I can't, because the season's over after this series, so I can't pick against them again.
Well, I am picking against them because, well, for a couple of reasons, and I'm not going to get into all of them, but the people who care, who are looking at me right now listening to this, know why I'm picking what I'm picking. And, go Florida, go Chicago, go give us a good series. I want to watch. I'd prefer to watch 7 games, honestly, because I'm a sports nut, and the more the better as far as I'm concerned. But, goalie forwards, defense all the way through. This ought to be an interesting series, and I really can't wait to see what these line matchups are going to be, starting with Game 1 tomorrow night. Who do you think Chicago starts with? I mean, Chicago won the President's Trophy, so they've got the home ice advantage for the series, I do believe. And
it was 1-1, I think the season series was, wasn't it? It was a split.
Yeah, I think it was, but Chicago has home ice, which means they've got control of what matchup they have in games 1 and games 2.
We got a question. We got a question real quick. Can you answer Katy Perry or Haley Steinfeld? I don't know who Haley Steinfeld is, so I'm going to have to say Katy Perry. If that answers your question. Clutch. His question was, can you answer Katy Perry or Haley Steinfeld? What's your answer?
I think he wants you to go with Haley Steinfeld. But,
Katy Perry all day, baby.
Yeah, the eye of the tiger. There's going to be some fireworks. What can I say? All right, so we have 2 against 1 here, picking Florida in 6 against Chicago in 5. So if our predictions are right, this series will go 11 games?
Yep.
Awesome. Well, I can't wait to watch that. Well, sorry the show was kind of choppy at certain junctures here. We're guys. We can't read and talk at the same time, so sorry. But next week we are going to be on here, and we're going to be talking about who won the Stanley Cup. And when we get here, this is something that I purposely didn't ask you before the show because I wanted to see what your immediate reaction would be. But when we're sitting here next week talking about the Stanley Cup winner, whatever happens, what do you think the biggest storyline will have been for the Stanley Cup? I mean, do you think it's going to be it was high scoring? Do you think it was goaltending? Do you think first lines didn't get it done? Third lines did? I mean, what type of things would you expect this series? Because
wow,
honestly, so far it's been impossible to predict, and it'd be funny to talk about how wrong we were next week.
Man, I don't know. I guess I don't know, man. I really honestly can't give you an answer to that question. That's a great question. But if I'm forced to give an answer, I guess I'm Fuck, man. I really got no answer. It can't be upsets because there really wasn't that many upsets. There was two, I guess, in the Western Conference in round one. And then there was one upset in the Eastern Conference in round one. So, and then in round two, neither one of those were an upset in the Eastern Conference, and neither one of those were upset in the Western Conference.
Well,
technically, so I mean, I guess Florida upset Columbus because I would assume Columbus would have been favored in that. So,
technically, Columbus upset Pittsburgh because they were the higher seed. Pittsburgh was the higher seed, technically.
Right. So there was an upset there, but in the Western Conference. So it's definitely not upsets. It's definitely not sweeps. It's definitely not, I mean, if there was something, I would say almost it's not even competitive balance, man. I honestly, I have no idea. I can't give you a full answer on that. I have no idea what the story of the playoffs will be. Maybe the story of the playoffs will be that, one of these teams finally got it done. One of these teams finally took the Stanley Cup.
I'll take the easy route on that question and answer it myself. Whoever is awarded Conn Smythe will have been the story of the series. But I think it's going to be, can Florida's offense, which are very capable of scoring, can they keep up with the high-powered offense of Chicago while also putting that up against the league's second-place finalists for the Vezina Trophy? Chicago before has, been bounced in the first round of the playoffs, and they had Schneider last season. They seem to have put together the depth this year, and if Florida shows up to play like they did those final 3 games against Columbus, they can get this done. But Chicago is very good at shutting people down early and not giving them a prayer at winning games. I mean, you see Anaheim's down 2-1, has to get a big win. They lose 8-0, down 3-1, lose 7-0. Chicago leaves you no breathing room. So for Florida, I think it's going to be, they need to break through early. They need to win they need to split the first 2 games that Chicago controls the matchups. And if they can come out of the first 2 games tied 1-1, or be up 2-1, of course, but if they can be at least 1-1 after the first 2 games, controlling matchups in games 3 and games 4, Florida will put themselves in a great position in this series. But if Chicago comes out and shuts it down like they have done against Winnipeg, St. Louis, and Anaheim, it could be over like that. I mean, sure. This is one of those series that's really, there could be a lot of different stories at the top of the show next week when we're talking about who won the cup. So I thought it would be an interesting question to discuss. That's why I didn't ask you.
Right.
But do you have anything else you want to get to?
No, I think that's just about it, man.
Awesome. Well, congratulations again. Congratulations again to our award winners. I'll run them down real quick before we get out of here one more time. Your Art Ross Trophy winner again was J.C. Pens, who also won the Maurice Rocket Richard Trophy for most points, most goals. William M. Jennings Trophy goes to Viper. Lady Byng goes to Snipe Shot from Dallas. Selke goes to J Claus. Vezina goes to Schneider. Calder goes to Kraz 18. Jack Adams goes to Maranaconda. And the Norris Trophy goes to Fu Man Cheesy. Hart Trophy goes to Schneider. Have a good weekend, everybody. We'll see you next week.